We're going to be talking about a bunch of revolutionaries masquerading as wannabe gangsters on this week's Things That Need to Be Said. But first...
If you don't protect what belongs to you, then sooner or later, it belongs to someone else. That goes for your land, your wallet, your home, your country, everything. It is your job as a man to protect it.
Hey everybody, your resident man in black is back again for a new edition of the best kept secret in the conservative movement right here on MRC-TV. I'm Nick Kangadis. Really quick, head on over to Rumble, subscribe to our channel, and hit that like button. And no matter where you watch our videos, please share, like, and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I actually read what you guys have to say, and I occasionally respond, so don't be shy. Now, on with the show. Folks, I'm just gonna get right to it. Haven't we had enough of the left carrying out violent act after violent act, and the activist and establishment propaganda media keep making it as if there's no equivalent to what they perceive as political violence coming from the left? There's a reason I use the phrase, no equivalent.
While America's roots are soaked in bloodshed, violence in the country today is mostly from right-wing extremism. From Oklahoma City to Charlottesville to January 6th. There is simply no equivalent on the left.
The drunk leprechaun you just heard in the clip I just showed you had the gall to talk about America's roots being soaked in bloodshed, which is rich coming from someone from Ireland. Now, I'm not coming down on the Irish, but for someone from a country that houses the IRA and routinely was involved in political violence, right or wrong, maybe people from other countries who always throw stones at the US should look in the mirror and realize that A, they have no room to talk, and B, most of their countries would be on their asses if it weren't for the US. But that's foreign leftists. How about the Marxist domestic terrorists we have here, like Luigi Mangione? We have enemies of the state like journalist Taylor Lorenz, who turns into what sounds like a giddy thought when talking about someone who allegedly unalived someone because he was too stupid to understand how the world works.
Women especially that feel like, oh my God, right? Like here's this man who's revolutionary, who's famous, who's handsome, who's young, who's smart. He's a person that seems this morally good man, which is hard to find.
Oh, and by the way, the heroic Luigi, who fake tough guys like Bill Burr want freed.
Free Luigi!
Free Luigi!
Is the ultimate coward. Does no one remember that this fool, if it was actually him who unalived that insurance CEO, shot the guy from behind? He couldn't even face his victim, maybe because his unibrow would have been too identifiable. Oh. And then we have your average everyday commenter on Facebook. People that give their opinion, like you or me, but without any self-awareness of what they're actually saying. For example, WGN posted an article about a 17-year-old who killed his parents in order to, quote-unquote, obtain the financial means so he could assassinate President Trump and Vice President Vance. Now, I'm not going to show you the comments because I believe in people owning what they said, and I don't want to get sued for showing someone's name to go along with their comment. But let me just tell you, what I read from a good portion of the people in the comments section was a glowing approval of what the kid did simply because Orange Man bad.
Breaking news. Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man.
Orange Man.
As for the psychotic kid, quote, federal prosecutors alleged Kassip's manifesto outlined his reasons for wanting to kill Trump and included ideas about how he would live in Ukraine. Citing Kassip's writings, the federal warrant said the teenager wanted to spur governmental collapse by, quote-unquote, getting rid of the president and perhaps the vice president, unquote. And there lies the problem. Not only is the left violent, they're stupid. Trump and Vance ran on shrinking the size of government and limiting, if not completely eliminating, aid to Ukraine. And this kid was going to flee to Ukraine and kill Trump and Vance to spur the shrinking of government. As you all know, this is nothing new. Politicians and the media have held water for violent leftists for longer than any one of us has been alive, whether it was those who praised John Wilkes Booth for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, or Democrats like George Wallace who attempted to forcibly keep black kids out of college, or even the New York Times' Walter Duranty, who downplayed the devastation and genocide of the people within the Soviet Union and was reportedly Joseph Stalin's favorite journalist. This is the left's playbook. Always has been, always will be.
What you are seeing, the common theme that ties all of this together, is an expression of anger and frustration over what people feel like has become an all too familiar story playing out in places from across the country, not just here in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly, but fires have been started.
Now, too many see the protests as the problem. No, the problem is what forced your fellow citizens to take to the streets: persistent and poisonous inequities and injustice. And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
As all of you who have followed me over the years know, I don't advocate for violence. But I also don't advocate for standing still while a bully gives you a beatdown. I believe in self-defense, but so does the left, at least according to their definition of it. They think that all of this political violence is either justified or not really violence because it's in defense of the horrible ideology of democracy, which always leads to socialism. And as one of their heroes, Vladimir Lenin, once said, the goal of socialism is communism. I'm still not advocating for violence, but I am saying that if you're being punched in the face, maybe don't just stand there and take it like you're Homer Simpson. When is enough to the point the violent left is held to account for actions that they feel are perfectly justified by any means necessary? Here's a couple of examples. Remember the left's charge to take out Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh? Or how about the rhetoric of a Democrat senator who said Trump should be kept out of office by any action back in December of 2023?
So whether it is a court that determines he's unfit to hold office because he took up force against our Constitution or mobilized a mob against our Constitution, or because the electorate throws him out, I don't think it really matters. If he's unfit to hold office, we should all be encouraged by any action that makes it less likely that he will return to the presidency.
By any action.
Or how about Maxine Waters calling to confront members of Trump's administration in public and tell them they're not wanted here?
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome.
Or Kamala Harris advocating that protesters should not stop during the rioting that plagued our country during the summer of Floyd in 2020.
They're not going to stop, and this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not, and we should not.
Whatever the case may be, for the left to continue their political violence and pretend it's not violence while simultaneously crafting narratives that political violence is exclusive to the extreme right is dangerous to the constitutional public we're trying to preserve. Terrorists are terrorists and should be dealt with as such. And you don't have to like it. It's simply the truth. So, will I be targeted? Do I care? Or were these simply things that needed to be said? Let me know what you think in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Rumble and hit that like button. If you like this video, don't forget to share, comment, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video if they haven't censored it or taken it down yet. Like us on Facebook, check out more of our work at MRCTV.org, and if you want to support our content and the conservative movement, head on over to MRC.org/donate to help us out, since we're a nonprofit and couldn't do what we do without all of you. For MRC TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.